Pam Wallace, and I'm glad Suzie made her comment, so I don't have to, regarding the ordinance CA 179 that's requiring the housing to be inclusionary in each unit. But I will do this little math I was doing in my head, because we saw Canopy presented not too long ago, so that's affordable housing. Now this one, so that's 200 units for this one, 198. And then Canopy, I think, was 164, so that's rounded up to 200 units. Out of the 8,000 units that are a part of these projects, we're saying 1,200 is supposed to be affordable. So if 400 are going to be put in two complexes, that's a third of the housing that's going to be not inclusionary, but in two separate developments. So I think that's where the city manager was saying that's floating around. People are doing the math. So I'm concerned that our council is not exercising your strength and power to require what we need from the developers. Sunset is relinquishing their responsibility by putting this in Eden Housing. Eden has a great track record, but they're saying the housing funding is coming from their federal tax credits. And in this environment, are we really sure that that's going to take place? So are we considering any safeguards for the council to say, if you don't get this housing built, then we require Sunset to do it in a sooner fashion? They shouldn't start building projects unless this affordable housing is going step by step along with it, in sync, because this housing is supposed to be meeting that responsibility of these for market, for sale housing developments. So I'm just suggesting that's one way that you can safeguard and limit the city's liability from the housing, affordable housing not being developed, if we're going to relinquish the responsibility of the developer, Sunset Development, from actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is building the affordable units. So I'm really concerned too about the risk, liability for the city. Maybe we should continue the discussion until we think about what safeguards the council can put into place to make sure that we are limiting our exposure from this not happening and running the risk of our not meeting our affordable housing building quotas. And last thing I'll say is still waiting to see the traffic studies. I'm still waiting to see what the cumulative impact is going to be on traffic based on every new housing development that's coming up to be approved. Now I'm at 16 units that have been approved based on the recap that we've seen. And I just am concerned that the cumulative effect of traffic is not being considered. Because when I'm coming out of Whole Foods on Saturday morning when the marketplace is going on, there's a lot of traffic already. And that's before 16 units have been developed. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Next speaker, please.
Shirag Kathrani.
Hello, Mayor, Council Member, and City Manager. So there are multiple things here. One is the Avalon Bay apartment from which we are CityWalk rental. We are moving the units. It's not in DMU North, if somebody has looked into it as such. Apart from that, BR11 and BR7. BR7 is owned by KB Homes, and nowhere inside any of the agreement KB Homes' name shows up. So I think we should still at least acknowledge who is the owner of the properties, because Sunset doesn't own KB Homes. That's factually wrong. If Sunset is representing KB Homes, they should have a letter from KB Homes saying they are representing this company. So this kind of mistake shouldn't happen at a city at this level. One more point of $3,000 per unit. $3,000 per unit is extremely low because every unit that gets sold and transferred over, the developer gets $1 million benefit on it. So we are talking a significant discount. And inclusionary housing provision should basically keep the units in the same place, not in different. So we don't want to make a Section 8, and we are going to make a couple of them. So that's a few of my inputs, and I want city to reject this proposal, this agreement, or at least safeguard our residents, because if 5 or 10 years down the line, if we have to find another developer to fix this, how are we going to pay them? And for $1 million, right, that's a really low amount of money we are taking in behalf of the bigger discount we are giving on the inclusionary housing provision. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
That was the last speaker card. Ronnie?
Hello, Mayor and Council members and City Manager. So there are many problems in this particular amendment. One of the key part is if the zoning administrator takes over more authority than the Planning Commission, then what's the purpose of Planning Commission? And if you have seen the notes of previous ex-Planning Commissioner Eric Wallace, he had mentioned that if this is allowed, then this is going to repeat in every other project where sunset is involved. And we have seen this in the last Planning Commission meeting in August 5th, when the measure where the super majority is being taken away, as well as the number of meetings suggested are being reduced from 3 to 1. So this does not give any public opinion to even present. If there is one meeting and there is no response, then everything gets approved regardless. So I would strongly object in this particular, as well as you have seen number of people who have sent out comments saying like, please do not take away the authority of the Planning Commission in this particular projects or any other projects, regardless of whatever situation it is. We have never been, I had spoken about this even in the Planning Commission. In the Planning Commission, I had asked a very key question. Give us an example where the streamlining was necessary, where the Planning Commission took so much of time or any project was delayed because of that. There was not a single example given. So if there is no reason to do it, why should we do it? The Section 2 should be rejected strongly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next comment, please.
I believe she left. Pam Wallace submitted a speaker card for this item, and that was the last speaker card. And then we did receive 4 written comments from Carol Gilbert, Cynthia Kiefer, Sue Sanchez, and Brian Swanson.
Okay. And thank you. And I acknowledge those public comments. I've read them. Basically, they're saying keep the Planning Commission with oversight authority, don't allow the zoning administrator to approve projects, reject the changes in 9.4 is sort of the summary as I read those. Mm-hmm. Okay. If there's no other public comment in the public hearing, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
I move the motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Gross and Adler. Okay, public hearing is closed. Matters before the council, and maybe if I could just turn to the city attorney on this one as well. Are we not trying to align some legal requirement, something that's in our housing element, program 22, and we're trying to really document that and align our these development agreements with that? Or can you clarify sort of the legal aspect of this?
I think it would be better described as aligning with the intent of the plan and what the state intends for us to do in terms of streamlining these types of developments.
Okay.
Whether or not it's a strict legal requirement to vest that authority in the zoning administrator is that I wouldn't say that it's technically a legal requirement.
Okay. Well, as I read I went back and I read the zoning ordinance, and as I read it, it said it already gives the zoning administrator all the same authority that's just being documented here. I mean, the zoning administrator right now can call any project, or handles any project unless they decide not to handle any project. And
I
there's still gonna
don't
be a
see that it
public
changes
hearing.
anything, no.
Say again?
I apologize. I didn't mean to talk over you. I don't see that it changes anything.
Yeah, and there's still a requirement for a public hearing, so the public still has opportunity to weigh in.
Right. I was just
Yeah.
going,
Okay.
I was just going to say that on page 190, just above Planning Commission review, it says right there, nothing associated with the streamlined review process shall limit the ability of the public to appeal the decision of the zoning administrator or limit the Planning Commission / City Council's ability to initiate a call for review consistent with section D7-8 and D7-11 of the zoning code. So there's still an opportunity for weigh-in by all involved. If there's concern, they can certainly intercede.
And I think the only thing I'm trying to get a little more clarification on is I think that all that authority is there, and I agree with you. We still do the call for review, which is kind of like an appeal kind of thing. Pull it up. Planning Commission can do the same from the zoning administrator, but it sounds like nothing's really changing to me. We're just documenting this in these development agreements. Just based on the fact that we're dealing with 1A and 3A, and pretty much everything is done on these anyway. So that's my read on these things. But I don't know if that's a fair capture, Lauren?
I think it is a fair capture. I mean, we have an opportunity to, again, demonstrate that we're being consistent with our programs. This is a document that relates to the CityWalk plan. There's no good reason why we wouldn't acknowledge streamlining in it. And it gives us the ability to basically state that we've done this as part of our compliance efforts for dealing with housing element programs. So I do tend to agree that, there is a lot of authority already available to the zoning administrator. But again, there's a lot of judgment that goes along with that to make sure that, the Planning Commission is involved in important decision-making.
Yeah, because that's the behind the scenes in the office stuff that we don't get to see is what's the thought process a zoning administrator goes through to determine when the zoning administrator takes action versus punting it to the Planning Commission for a fuller, more developed review.
Every project's different, so it depends on the nature of the project and potential impacts of the project on the community at large.
Okay.
And we did have this conversation during our housing element update, right? Did we?
It's in the housing element, and it was a recommendation of
Yeah,
HCD to include it.
Yeah, we did. I think we talked about this during that time, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just read about it, but yeah, it is. We already gone through this conversation.
And was this something that we came up with, or is this something that HCD basically said, you need to do this if you want to get your housing?
There were
element?
several obligations that were put back to the city in terms of getting our housing element certified, and this was one of the recommendations of HCD that we include a program to streamline projects, in particular a project like CityWalk that's already approved at the umbrella kind of level, and we have objective standards, and there's really not a lot of reason for multiple public hearings on it from their perspective.
Yeah.
Now, that may be different from the Planning Commission, it may be different from the City Council, but at the state level, they want to see housing production, and so.
Well, and they want to see the removal of barriers to
Correct.
housing production, and this could be seen as a barrier to have too much administrative burden.
Well, and with the acknowledgement in here is to say we're aware that streamlining is important.
Yeah, okay. All right, other questions or comments? I don't know, we've had the public hearing. Does anyone want to, we
I have a comment,
pull
Mayor.
anything out, pull it out and separate it, or proceed?
I have a comment. I know legally and procedurally this is sound. I just have a problem with removing the oversight from Planning Commission. The optics of it, just, there's something instinctively not right about this. And I just believe it doesn't change the process. We're also changing policy as well. And that's what I'm struggling with, is that we're removing a very important oversight. And if the residents see that, then we're gonna slowly erode that trust.
So
And
just for discussion, I don't see any removal of oversight of the planning commission.
It's right here.
It doesn't say remove oversight of the planning commission.
But you're giving it to you're giving,
No, ZA already has it right now. They already have the authority to approve these things.
So the process is
The way
already
And they,
same process.
It's
Nothing
part
changed.
of our the housing program.
then why
Element.
why have this amendment if it's the same process?
This is kind of going back
It's
to what the mayor was
streamlining
saying,
language.
to create make it more formal, formalize that, but also as that little part that I read, it also provides the option for anyone who wants to pull it and has concerns, you can. So there's nothing that would allow the ZA can't, like if there's a concern, the ZA cannot unilaterally just proceed, because there is that option here.
Okay. I think it probably should have been written better.
all right.
I mean, go ahead, because it doesn't, I guess it doesn't matter.
I think just as a point of clarification, the policy authority actually exists in the zoning ordinance that gives the zoning administrator the authority to approve development plan amendments and development plans. The language in here doesn't say that the zoning administrator shall approve these projects. It gives the ability to that. It reinforces the ability that provision exists in our code. It's buried in a different code, puts it into the development agreements, which are front and center related to these projects. And it's an acknowledgement of the streamlining process. Again, whether it'll actually change the process, I can't say. But again, it's really more of documentation, and it's an opportunity to send a message to the state that we're taking streamlining seriously. And we put it into our policy documents related to this project, being the development agreement.
So what is the implication if we don't add this as part of this?
There's probably very little implication, because again, the streamlining isn't specific to zoning administrator. There are other ways of streamlining things. It's just at some point, we're going to have to document to the state how we're accomplishing streamlining consistent with that policy. And one way is, well, we include it in development agreements and we've acknowledged it. Another way might be that, our track record is approving in one hearing or whatever. There's other ways of doing it, because the policy of 22 isn't specific about saying zoning administrator shall streamline. It just says streamline, however we want to come up with it. So this is an opportunity to at least make a step in that direction. If it's not what the council wants to do, that's understandable as well.
You could say it's more of an affirmation of an existing policy in a written document specific to a development. So it's restating what we already have the ability to do
And
in a formal way.
it's specific to amendments to
Right.
BR1.
already approved DAs.
Yeah.
Correct.
And in one case, I think already approved project.
Well, there are several approved projects already in there. Whether those will get modified in the future, I couldn't say, but, we've had minor adjustments in the past, adding two units to related, I think it was, and, little tweaks here and there as they get into development review. then those can be handled administratively either way. And we've done them administratively in the past.
So, Councilmember Joyner, do you have any concern about it, or just more? No concern. Okay. Okay. In that case, I don't know, Mayor, I can move the motion.
Okay.
For I think we can do individually, right? One by one.
Well, let's see if we're going to do two here.
Yes, one separate motion for each ordinance.
Okay. So can I get a motion to continue the item and set ordinance approving the second amendment to the CityWalk Development Agreement between City of San Ramon and Bishop Ranch Parcel 1A for adoption at City Council meeting scheduled for 9 September 2025? As amended with the housing language word included in section 2, yeah, section 4.3. Yeah.
I move the motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay, that motion passes, and now for the next one, can I get a motion to continue the item and set the ordinance approving the third amendment to the CityWalk Development Agreement between City of San Ramon, BR 3A, and the Bishop Ranch Parcel 3A for adoption at City Council meeting scheduled on 9 September 2025 as amended?
I move the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay, that motion passes, and any other business on this item? Are we good, City Attorney, on that? Martin?
I believe that wraps this one up.
Okay. All right, well then, with that, we're to item 10, City Manager, City Council members' comments, matters initiated. Brevity would be appreciated.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My update this evening, our summer season was successful, and the rec guide will be in the mailbox for residents shortly. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you. All right, council members, I'll start down with council members. Why not?
July 24th, I attended the Library Foundation meeting. Very positive outcome with the Library Foundation, and we have our second jazz festival, I think, coming up later this year. Also attended July 29th, the State of the County Address with Supervisor Anderson as well. August 4th, the Senior Advisory Committee meeting, and August 5th was the National Night Out. I was fortunate to attend with Lieutenant Mark Gunning, and thank you to our officers and thank you to our residents who actually really put on a really spectacular event. So it was really good to see the community out together. Thank you.
All right, great, thank you. Councilmember Adler.
Yeah, I would second that regarding National Night Out. I was went to 4 different neighborhoods, was very impressed with the kids, especially who approached the Corporal Bennington, who I drove with, and they just loved the stickers. He gave out the stickers, and the parents were like, "Make sure you say thank you," and they were just great. And I was impressed at the end with the Gale Ranch final neighborhood, which was just an amazing with all the food trucks, and so that was a great experience. Thursday, at the first part of the last couple of weeks, I was on vacation the first week, but the second thing I did was the Central Sanitation District, and really they were kind of hung up on one of the legislative. They indicated the legislature has been on recess since July 18th. They're coming back on August 18th, They were concerned about a discussion on AB 339, which has now moved over to the Senate, and having to do with requiring public boards to give unions no less than 60 days, shortened from 120 days written notice before issuing quotes for renewing contracts. This could affect us here as well, but we're not sure if that's going to pass or not. Iron Horse Trail meeting yesterday. There was a election of chair. Nazrin Shakiran from Alamo was elected chair. Usama Farads from Pleasant Hill was elected vice chair. There was Chris Weeks was discussing the fact that we just opened up the Iron Horse, the bridge at Bollinger Canyon, and very proud for the city. And we were just indicated the way this whole contract went, and how there were just only 10 change orders. Anyway, that was a great experience, as we all know. Crow Canyon is next. And there was one indication also about the fact that there'll be some dual tracking. I think the mayor already mentioned that. We do have, Supervisor Anderson got $500,000 for that section of the trail from Bollinger up to Crow Canyon for some changes. I think there's going to be some landscaping and develop a comprehensive plan to improve trail connectivity. So that money is going to go for a good purpose on the trail. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Rubio.
Okay, so I attended, since our last meeting, I attended 4 events, commitments. I attended Thursday, July 24th, the Contra Costa County Hazardous Waste Materials meeting. There was a presentation on how, with the marathon and some of the issues that have happened since the explosion that happened, and how we manage some of the waste from regarding that. Then on Tuesday, with July 29th, I attended the State of the County with Supervisor Candace Anderson. For me, what really stood out was the fact that there was going to be cuts to funding for Medi-Cal, and that is very troubling to me, because that's going to impact all of us. I mean, some people think it's only people who need the insurance, but it's actually everyone. So Tuesday, August 5th, I attended, like everyone here, National Night Out. I got to go with Lieutenant Lacey, which was a lot of fun. She's always a lot of fun. We attended 3 events that evening. And then on Sunday, August 10th, I went to the Eagle Scout Court of Honor. Inia and Navia were awarded Eagle Scout rank. Both exceptional young ladies who are now moving on to the University of California at Santa Barbara and studying biological, something along the lines of, if I recall, because I studied neurobiology, but it's biological neuroscience along that vein. So it's really exciting to see all the great things they're doing, and that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Vice Mayor Ross.
I just want to say thanks to Lieutenant Williams for giving me a ride for National Night Out, and thanks to all the community members for hosting events and sharing delicious food and all your feedback about the community. That's my update. Thank you.
Okay. And for me, I attended the PACE Tri-Valley Grand Opening Ribbon Cutting. PACE is the Program for All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. This Tri-Valley program, this is sponsored by the Center for Elder Independence, and it serves our San Ramon seniors as well. It's a great new facility that's in Livermore. State of the County was mentioned. I also attended 2 Eagle Scout Court of Honors. One of them was for an all-girl troop, so two girl Eagle Scouts from Troop 126. The other one was Troop 874. Attended the last summer concert. There was a touch of class, Motown, R&B, funk, pop. Boy, it was fun. It was actually really good. People were having a great time dancing, as always. National Night Out has been mentioned. I went with Captain Becky Chestnut. Great time, as always. And then I also attended the Mayor's Conference meeting in Antioch on the 7th of August. Congressman DeSaulnier was the primary speaker, and he gave an update on things going on in D.C. and sort of the climate there. And last thing on last Friday, I went to the Innovation Tri-Valley Board meeting. They did a kind of a year in review, a lot of the great Tri-Valley innovative things, and then we did some brainstorming to help them put together their strategic plan for this upcoming year. And that concludes my report. So with that, it's been a long meeting. I appreciate everyone hanging in there, and this meeting is adjourned until the next meeting, 9 September. Thank you. Good night.